Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis, from the words of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. The Divine Presence, Part 3. From the Mother. Sweet Mother, what do you mean by becoming conscious? Is becoming conscious of the divine presence in oneself the only thing? Or does becoming conscious of one's movements, of one's speech, etc., also count? Mother, you may be sure that becoming conscious of the divine presence in oneself considerably changes one's whole way of being and gives an exceptional control over all activities, mental, vital, and physical. And this control is infinitely more powerful and luminous than anything one can obtain through external means. Blessings. If one were in contact with one's psychic being all the time, yes. But it is a fact, from the moment one is in contact with one's psychic being all the time, one is in contact with the divine presence all the time. And you may reverse the statement and say, I shall know that I am in contact with my psychic being all the time when I am in contact with the divine presence all the time in all things. This will be a proof for me that I am in contact with my psychic being. From Sri Aurobindo. But when the Karma Yogan has seen the Lord surrounding all things with his presence, and all things existing only as transitory manifestations, idols, or images in this divine reality, what follows? It follows that just as this tree or that mountain exists only as an image or manifestation in the divine reality, so also all creatures, men included, are merely images or manifestations in the same divine reality. In other words, what is real, living, eternal in you and me is not our body, nor our vitality and its desires, nor our mind, nor our reason and understanding, but just as the divine presence which pervades me and you, as much as it pervades the tree and the mountain. Live always as if you were under the very eye of the Supreme and of the Divine Mother. Do nothing, try to think and feel nothing that would be unworthy of the divine presence. Disciple, you write, one can feel the divine consciousness impersonally as a new consciousness only, but that the Mother's presence is something more. You also wrote in another letter that the divine presence in the heart is much more than the consciousness. In what way is the presence more than the consciousness? I meant that one can feel the divine consciousness as an impersonal spiritual state, a state of peace, light, joy, wideness, without feeling in it the divine presence. The divine presence is felt as that of one who is the living source and essence of that light, etc. A being, therefore, not merely a spiritual state. The mother's presence is still more concrete, definite, personal. It is not that of someone unknown, of a power or being, but of one who is known, intimate, loved, to whom one can offer all the being in a living, concrete way. The image is not indispensable, though it helps. The presence can be inwardly felt without it. The first principles of Karma Yoga arise from the realization of the eternal as a great and divine presence which pervades and surrounds all things, so that it is impossible to direct one's thought, speech, or actions to a thing or person without directing them to Him. But still, the Vibhuti is not the avatar. Otherwise, Arjuna, Vyasa, Ushanas would be avatars as well as Krishna, even in a less degree of the power of avatarhood. The divine quality is not enough. There must be the inner consciousness of the Lord and Self governing the human nature by His divine presence. There should be not only a general attitude, but each work should be offered to the Mother, so as to keep the attitude a living one all the time. There should be at the time of work no meditation, for that would withdraw the attention from the work. But there should be the constant memory of the one to whom you offer it. This is only a first process, for when you can have constantly the feeling of a calm being within, concentrated in the sense of the divine presence, while the surface mind does the work, or when you can begin to feel always that it is the Mother's force that is doing the work, and you are only a channel or an instrument, then in place of memory, there will have begun the automatic, constant realization of yoga, divine union in works. And lastly, this question. Is it true that one should feel that it is the divine presence which moves one and does everything for one? Would it be possible to feel it without a union with the Divine Mother? Sri Aurobindo. No. That is itself a union with her. To feel the divine presence above or in you and moving you. Namaste.